This is a channel largely dedicated to talking about DNA tests, ethnic backgrounds, and that sort of thing. And what's funny is, I have made so many videos, certain one, as I pick apart different parts of my ethnic background, according to DNA tests and according to what is a fact as far as I know, based on family history. So, I've made videos talking about me being of Sephardic Jewish descent. I've talked about me being of Middle Eastern descent. I'm writing all this down. Basque, Mexican, Spanish, Baltic. I've got multiple videos for all of those things. And what's funny is people who are those same things naturally watch the videos and then they comment, but what do they say? This week alone, I've had somebody say, "You look 100% Mexican." I had somebody else say, "You look 100% Spanish." I had another person, "You clearly look Semitic. You undeniably look Jewish," is basically what they were saying. And a lot of people say that about me looking Baltic. And the same thing with all the ones where I talk about being Middle Eastern. So what my point is this: people are seeing themselves and their own people groups in me. But think about how that's interesting, because ultimately, are we saying that a Mexican looks the same as a person who's Jewish, as the same as a person who's Middle Eastern, as the same as a person who's Spanish, Baltic, etc.? Is that what we're saying? No, because if you had a man of each of those backgrounds, they would have some similar traits, but ultimately you could most likely tell them apart to some degree. So it's interesting that despite the diversity, people are saying you look 100% so-and-so. Because even myself, I'm dealing with that. I look 100% Mexican, and that's interesting to me. Now, for those of you who live outside of America, you're struggling with that right now if you're new to my channel, because you're like, "But Nick, Mexican is a nationality." Not if you're American. Americans, when they hear Mexican, they're talking about a certain ethnic mix, a certain predictable ethnic mix, which many Mexicans who cross the border and come here to the United States look like. It's a very predictable look. And that's what we're talking about here, that mestizo, or whatever you want to call it, the native American mixed with the European Spanish. That's what we're talking about. But it is so interesting that I would get that comment this week: "Nick, you look 100% Mexican." And then just a couple days later, "You look Jewish. You look Baltic. You look completely Spanish." It's always the same comments from different backgrounds. So what can we learn from that, and how can we sort that out? Because we can't say that a Mexican person looks Jewish or that a Jewish person looks Baltic, can we? That's pretty broad generalizations. Ultimately, we're just talking about a guy who predictably has dark hair and maybe somewhat, what do we say, olive tint to my skin or whatever, more the Mediterranean look or whatever. But it's such a generalization that it's funny that anyone could say, "I look 100% Mexican," while at the same time saying I look 100% Jewish. How could I look 100% anything? And ultimately, we definitely have certain markers that we go by to know what a person's supposed to look like if they're from Sweden versus someone from Argentina. But ultimately, I just think that's fascinating, that I could look 100% of whatever the person watching the video is, that they could see that much in me, even though there may be only a part of me. In reality, my heritage DNA test is saying that basically I'm about 21, 22% Native American, and then I'm like 31% Iberian, which is basically Spanish. So it's showing high traits of that. But ultimately, I think what I'm seeing is people are seeing themselves in me, even though the other people wouldn't say. Like the Mexican person, "Yeah, you look 100% Spanish," and then the person from Iran or Iraq watches it, "No, he looks like one of us." No, he's one of us. That's interesting to me. Let's talk more about it right here.